Joining me now on the phone is CBSN anchor and really CBS resident Star Wars expert Vladimir Duthiers. Vlad, you met Carrie Fisher earlier this year at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. You got to speak with her. Talk to us about what you spoke about and what she told you.
Errol, it was an incredibly moving moment for me to meet Carrie Fisher on the red carpet at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and her beloved Gary, who she traveled with wherever she went. And I was sort of in awe. As you will know, as a reporter, we get to meet and interview presidents and monarchs. But for me, there's probably been no greater thrill than meeting Carrie Fisher, because in that summer of 1977, when I first went to see Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope, I was immediately blown away by her. I mean, every kid in America and probably around the world fell in love with Carrie Fisher, fell in love with Princess Leia. Here was a heroine who could grab a blaster and blow some stormtroopers away, but she could also be funny and she could also be tender. And I don't think that, as kids, we had never seen anything like that before. So she was just an icon for those of us who grew up watching the original trilogy of Star Wars. But she was so much more than that. And I know that a lot of the discussion over the next couple of days is going to be around Princess Leia. But she was a producer. She was a director. She had written a best-selling book. She was one of the funniest actresses. I mean, she played a character in When Harry Met Sally, Marie, for those fans of that movie who'll remember, who was just side-splittingly funny. But this is and I'll tell you, Errol, the reason you might hear cars is I just finished the 12:30 p.m. Eastern showing of Star Wars Rogue One. I just walked out of the theater, and as the credits started to roll, the lights went up, and my girlfriend Marion turned on her phone, and she just turned to me and said, Carrie Fisher has died. And that's just cosmic for me, that I'm watching the next generation, the next iteration of a Star Wars film, when probably my first introduction to cinema, and I'm a huge cinephile, but my first real introduction to cinema came in that summer of 1977 when I first saw Star Wars. And then to get the news just moments after the credits started rolling on the latest episode of Star Wars is cosmic.
What a surreal moment, and for many people who may have been going to a screening, to hear this news as they watch this movie is something else. We actually have a clip, Vlad, from your interview with Carrie Fisher earlier this year. Let's take a look.
So we want to bring in Carrie Fisher. I'm going to move over.
And if you can look down, Carrie Fisher
here
has an adorable
and we're going to have
with
Carrie
her.
Fisher. So Carrie Fisher, come on over to CBS News. Oh, sorry.
Oh, they're comparing
dogs.
notes.
All right, Juliana.
On TV,
Yes.
we'll talk. So
Yes.
maybe Brian can get what is the dog's name?
Can we get a shot of the dog? Yeah.
He looks about as thirsty as I feel right now. He's not so sure about this.
What's his
scene
name?
anymore.
Gary.
He's running for president.
So it's so great to finally meet you. I'm Vlad Duthiers with CBS News. You know Juliana. Hey, good to this is Alicia Hamley, my colleague. Chris Van Cleve is also with CBS. So you bought Gary. I think this is a first.
Really?
Have you? I don't know. Have you come with him before?
I'm going to check later, and I'll come back and tell you if it's a first or a third. Those are the only two choices.
Is Gary going into the dinner?
Of course he is. He loves Obama.
But why is he running for president?
Why is Gary? Gary, only because Obama isn't. I mean, there's no one ever, anywhere. Anyway, no, he's not running. He's running for dog. He's running for, let's see, what do they call it? No, the worst one is my spirit animal. But there's some other stuff that he could be. But not that.
Carrie, can I ask you? So obviously, people were so excited to see you again in Star Wars, The Force Awakens. I mean, you're signed up for the next one, right?
I'm doing it right now.
You're doing it right now.
That was me doing it.
That was a Jedi mind trick, I think, that you just played on me. Let me ask you, how many of these have you been to?
None.
This is your first one.
But this is my favorite president ever in the world.
When
Don't shoot his ass now.
I wonder. I wonder, when Ronald Reagan was president, did your mother come to any of these?
That's a mean question. This
Yeah.
is, when did you stop beating your wife? You know the answer. We came. Oh,
See, I was gonna wonder, like, I just
when
thought
I was
because-
14
I knew it.
to come to the White House to meet Nixon. And my
Wow.
mother and I had a huge fight. Then she told me, you know, there would be no more shopping for a lifetime and stuff like that. And I'm so, you know, shallow.
Yeah.
And I submitted. And there was a picture, and he sent me, this is nice though, he sent me the picture, and it said,
President
may all
Nixon
your
did.
dreams come true.
That's
And I
very
wrote
nice.
him, I dreamt you were impeached, which was, no, I didn't. And then I told someone I'd lost it, and he sent me another one. And he said, from one of her biggest fans or something.
What?
So actually,
Wow.
I'm liking Nixon.
That's pretty wild.
It's
pretty-
amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That isn't a great
What
story.
did you wear to the White House when you were 14 years old?
Kind of this. And wait a minute. I didn't realize that till this moment, and I saw myself over there, which is frightening.
That's you.
But no, but kind of this, but it was lace. I'm so not joking.
That's a great
I'm
story.
gonna be very
I mean, that's
serious
something
about
that I don't think, like,
Good taste
it
never
was
changes.
velvet, and you didn't mean this question to be this long, but it was velvet. It was, you know, vintage and with the lace, and it was this length.
well, it is so great to meet
It's
you.
great to
It's
meet
so wonderful to meet Gary.
Who have you met that's been groovy tonight?
We've met
Aretha
so many
Franklin.
people.
Was
Aretha
high
Franklin.
on the
Aretha's
list.
Franklin sitting
Oh,
at
I
our
changed the
table.
guest
I
of
know.
CBS
CBS
News.
News as Aretha as a guest.
Kidding.
We do.
You are so
Look
intelligent.
for the beautiful woman in peach. and
Yes.
You'll see her.
I
Yes.
am doing so
Yeah.
immediately.
So that was
All
kind
right,
of
well,
cool.
congratulations.
So I wonder if we could, if my colleague can take a picture for us while I'm going to do this. Let's get Gary on there.
Gary,
Here.
they can have one question each, and then we're going to go
Reach
into
out.
dinner. One question.
Well,
colleagues gonna take a
Vlad
picture.
is doing what everyone does so well at these dinners, which is take pictures with famous people. Although Gary, with his tongue out, is not a usual sight on the red
He's
carpet.
Great. How old is he? Oh, he's adorable. Thank you so much, Gary. Thank you so much for talking. I just got a kiss from Princess Leia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Wow, that was
Mr.
incredible. That was wild.
Are all of your teenage boy dreams coming
you
true?
don't even know. We might just
I
have to take a break.
I
before we
truly
know.
can't understand. I think we should let Vlad have a moment, and
Yes,
we'll be back.
thank you very much.
Interview there from earlier this year with producer Alicia Amling and our Vladimir Duthier meeting Carrie Fisher, who died earlier today at the age of 60. And let me just say, Vlad, watching that, you get such a strong sense of her comedic wit, her personality, and her ability to just kind of riff and tell jokes and one-liners and kind of improvise. You get a real sense of her talent.
And you know, Errol, what you also get a sense of is how much I was sort of a giggling schoolboy. I was like chortling and laughing because this was unbelievable. And I couldn't even conduct a proper interview because I was absolutely mesmerized. As you saw Alicia saying at the end that I needed a moment, you could hear me saying I just got a kiss from Princess Leia, something that I dreamed about for years. But, you know, yeah, she was incredibly talented. She is Hollywood royalty. Most of our viewers will know that her mother, Debbie Reynolds, was famous from a very early age. From the age of 19, Debbie Reynolds won that role in Singin' in the Rain, a 1952 production with Gene Kelly and Donald O'Connor. And she went on to do amazing work most notably in the movie The Unsinkable Molly Brown. She was nominated for an Academy Award for that film, Debbie Reynolds was, but she was also, her father was Eddie Fisher, the very talented singer and actor.
Right.
And so she came from that world, and she was, you know, just practically a teenager herself when she started doing movies. Carrie Fisher did. She was a tremendous talent in the Blues Brothers. But yeah, it was really Star Wars that put her on the map. And she has continued to, you know, delve into that role. But I got to tell you, we're going to talk about 2016, Errol, I think, for years to come. Just a number of unbelievably talented people that have passed away, from David Bowie to just recently George Michael and Leonard Cohen and Muhammad Ali, and now Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher. And as you probably know, on Twitter, the hashtag is May the Force be with her. People were tweeting that when we first learned that she was in the hospital. Many of us, myself included, had hoped that we had heard reports that she was stabilized and out of the ICU, that somehow she was going to make it. But this is devastating, absolutely devastating news for anybody who is a fan of Star Wars, but also anybody who's just a fan of movies.
Yeah, and the man behind Star Wars, George Lucas, has just released this statement. We'll read it for our viewers here. Quote, "Carrie and I have been friends most of our adult lives. She was extremely smart, a talented actress, writer, and comedian with a very colorful personality that everyone loved." He goes on to say, "In Star Wars, she was our great and powerful princess, feisty, wise, and full of hope in a role that was more difficult than most people might think. My heart and prayers are with Billy, Debbie, and all Carrie's family, friends, and fans. She will be missed by all." Vladimir Duthiers speaking with us after seeing the new Star Wars movie, reflecting on his time with Carrie Fisher earlier this year on the news that the actor, author, and mental health advocate has died at the age of 60. Vlad, thanks.
Thank you, Errol.